What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.
Boxing King Media, we're here. Funnily enough, this is the site, the exact site. I don't know if you remember this, Dev. The very first spot, the exact spot where I first interviewed you.
Was it really?
Do you remember?
Yeah, it was in the build-up to Fury versus White. That night went a bit better in terms of Fury got the win.
You did that interview that day, and ever since then you get in lines, people wanting to interview. I was the first one, don't forget.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. Yeah, that was cool actually.
Look, before we even speak about this fight, I've got to mention something. We did an interview with you a couple of days ago with you and OLEKSANDR. It was light-hearted. Obviously, I want to put it out there that you're doing your job. Your job is to promote Queensberry, dropping some cheeky banter, wind fighters up, get them talking to each other, because that's your role. Do you know what I mean? It's a job. You're not. That's not you as a person. And I feel like people in the comments are giving you a bit of shit, and I think they need to realise that you're basically fulfilling your job role. You're not. That's not you. Do you know what I mean? And I think you got some unnecessary stick. So I silence the comments.
Well, is what it is with that. I mean, that is my job, to try and promote and hype things up and get fighters talking. And I think, look, it is what it is. Not everyone's going to get my sense of humour. I make jokes about Daniel Dubois being unbeaten in rematches. He hadn't had a rematch. That's why that was true up until tonight, and he had a rematch. And OLEKSANDR Usyk is so good, God's sake, mate. I mean, who's going to beat him? Who can we find out there to beat OLEKSANDR Usyk? I mean, Tyson Fury's putting out videos saying he wants to do it. Matt Rich has just called out, could Sahni be the man to beat OLEKSANDR Usyk? I don't think I could. Jake Paul's faced off with him. I don't know what to think, mate. Joe Parker's next. Ajit Kabial's knocking about. His Excellency wants to see Moses Itauma. Maybe there's just no way to beat this guy. I think he's got 1 or 2 fights left. He'll go down as an all-time great.
Well, there was a bit in the press conference a couple of days ago that I picked up, and I might be the one of very few that picked it up. You asked him, you said to me, you knocked him out in the first fight. Are we expecting the same result? And 99.9% times Usyk will always answer, it's God's will. Long as I win, doesn't matter how. That is what he always says, but he specifically said, yes, I will do the same. And that was a cold warning, and that was kind of a confirmation that Team Dubois had pissed him off and he wanted to make a statement. Would you agree now, that considering what he did in that fight?
Don't push the horses. Don't push the horses. I think that's what it meant. I actually caught up with members of Usyk's team afterwards and said, what did he mean by don't push the horses? And it means kind of hold your horses. Don't get too carried away. Don't get ahead of yourself, kind of thing. And listen, Usyk was loading up at times in there, and I've never seen him really load up like that either, apart from like the Tony Bellew shot. This was kind of a little bit like that. I mean, just unreal. I think Daniel started quite well. I think the first round he started well. He did ship a few heavy jabs, but he didn't look deterred at that point. And then gradually he just got more and more deterred. The form slipped, the hands went down, and he was shipping more. Ended up in a bit of a firefight at the end, a trade up, backed himself to maybe get the knockout in that trade up, but got knocked out himself. And I mean, look, he'll come back. I would hope. It's going to be difficult to rebuild from that, but 27 years old, you would think that he can come back. But OLEKSANDR Usyk, that's really the headline tonight, that this guy that we've just witnessed at Wembley Stadium is not just one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, he's simply one of the greatest fighters of all time. Why not just say it? I know people are scared of, you can't say that, you can't say he's one of the best ever. What about Muhammad Ali and all of that? What more can this guy actually do? What do you want him to do? Like, he's jumped up to heavyweight, he's beaten AJ twice, beaten Fury twice, and now he's beaten Dubois twice, beaten Chisora, beat Bellew at cruiserweight, cleaned up at cruiserweight. It's like, do you wait for the next guy?
You actually sound like Team Usyk PR now.
I'm just in awe, to be honest. I'm quite in awe of him. Look, and I've always been quite in awe of him, to be fair. I'm just kind of doing my job and hyping up the fight, and I did really feel that Daniel had a great chance tonight, it being at home and the form that he was on and the mentality that he was showing, but not to be. He found himself in with Superman.
Give me an honest answer. does anyone beat him in this current crop of heavyweights in the world? I know it's a difficult one for you to answer because you're Team Queensberry and you've got to do it, but...
Listen, if Tyson Fury fights him again, the view from the Tyson Fury camp is that they won the first 2 fights. Not everyone's going to agree with that, right? But the view is very much, if we get him again, and we get him in the UK, we will be able to beat him. That's kind of the Tyson Fury viewpoint, from my understanding. But you'd have to wait and see. He's the guy who stands a great chance of doing so because he's won so many rounds against OLEKSANDR Usyk. Maybe he'd get a better share of the closer rounds in the UK. I don't know. And then there's talk about Moses Itauma, but he hasn't been past 6 rounds. It would be quite the leap. You have to kind of look at how he gets on against Dillian White. Ajak Kabayel is a very intelligent fighter. He'd be very much targeting the body. He's probably the best body puncher in the heavyweight division. You got Joe Parker, who fights fearlessly. Walked towards the fire against Deontay Wilder. Really fancied it. You think that he'd back himself and that he'd fancy himself in there. He should be next in line. But I don't know. Surely he can't beat everyone, right?
He definitely can't, Dev. But yeah, we could talk about this guy all night, but I think I'm going to leave it on that. Well done to Queensberry. They sold out Wembley Stadium. A lot of people are doubting it, but big up Frank Warren and Queensberry, and well done to all of you.
Shout out Sol Dakers, by the way. I know that sort of got lost in the whole night, but he was up against it tonight, bouncing back from a first-round knockout loss to David Adelaide, finds himself in with this Ukrainian killer who's knocked out pretty much everyone, and got the win. So fair play. That was like a winning start for England tonight, who ultimately lost 2-1. So shout out Sol Dakers, shout out Oleksandr Usyk. Get well soon, Daniel Dubois.
Dev Sahni, thank you.
The most powerful trait we have. You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.